So I know you're busy, so let me get this straight. Congressional Democrats care so much about the Constitution and the traditions of this country that they're threatening to riot, abolish the Electoral College, the filibuster, pack the Supreme Court, and impeach President Trump for doing his job if they don't get their way. What am I missing here?
Yeah. Yes. No, you're not missing anything, but I don't think the American people take too kindly to being threatened. Democrats want to change the rules, and you could also add one other thing in there. Democrats want to win this election after the election. You saw what happened in Pennsylvania, where you can count ballots 3 days after Election Day, even if you can't distinguish the postmark date on the envelope that brings the ballot to the Board of Elections. You saw what happened in Wisconsin and Michigan just yesterday. Wisconsin, a federal judge says they'll count ballots 6 days after the election. Michigan, they said a state judge said they're going to count ballots 14 days after the election. So Democrats want to win this election after the election, and that just underscores why it's important we get a nominee brought forward, one who will follow the Constitution, and we can make sure that it's not a 4-4 split on the court, that it's actually a 5-4 conservatives, maybe even 6 on the court, who would vote the right way if the Democrats try to rig this game and win the election, as I said, after the election takes place.
So speaking of the election, we're less than 45 days out. Do you believe that there's enough time for your colleagues in the upper chamber to submit a nominee, do the vetting process, and get a vote done?
Yeah, I mean, Judge Stevens, I think it was 19 days, so it's been done historically in less time. Now, in the last several years, last several decades, it's typically been a little longer, but there's been times where it's went much faster, and as you indicated in your opening comments, that Senator McConnell looks like he has 51 votes to get this through. So that's a great sign. I want someone who will follow the Constitution, who will respect your First Amendment liberties, who will respect your Second Amendment liberties, who will understand what we've been through in the last several months, where Democrat governors wouldn't let you go to church, wouldn't let you go to work, wouldn't let you go to school, wouldn't let you go to a loved one's funeral, and until last week wouldn't let you play football. But, oh, you could protest, riot, and loot. So I think it's important we have someone who understands your fundamental liberties, is going to fight for those and protect those on the Supreme Court. Someone who understands what the Attorney General said last spring, that the Constitution is not suspended during a crisis. And amen to that. That's the kind of individual we need on the court, and that's the kind of individual President Trump's going to nominate.
That's exactly right, because I'm hearing from a lot of Republicans that they're worried that we're going to get another disappointment, for example, like a John Roberts. So is there any one of the names like Amy Coney Barrett, Barbara Lagoa, any names that you're hearing right now that you are hopeful about? Are there any names that give you some concern? What are your feelings about some of the potential names right now?
I think Amy Coney Barrett would be tremendous. I think she'd be great for the court. But I think that whole list of 20 that the president put out and the list he had prior to that, this is another difference. Joe Biden, where's your list? The president put his list out in 2016, and then he selected Gorsuch and Kavanaugh from that list. They're now on the court doing a good job. He put out another list, and he's going to select from that list for this nominee, and it sounds like that's going to come forward on Saturday. So, Joe Biden, where's your list? Is it somewhere in the basement, and maybe he can find it at some point and let the American people know what he's thinking? But the president has done what he said he was going to do. Gave us a list, picked from that list, and those individuals are on the court, and he's going to do the same thing. He's going to do the same thing with this nominee.